good. Okay, thank you.
Okay, one thing I found helpful, this I had gotten on Amazon, and it's called Collecting Seashells Field Journal. Inside, it has on each page a place for a sketch or a photo of a shell that you find, or what I do is, and then also it's got the whole 9 yards of the class and everything, which is helpful, the location, the source, whether you got it live, whether it's gem, fine, good, or fair condition. But what I do is, if I go like Dania Beach, I took a picture of what I found there. And then I put the date and you know, name a lot of the shells or things that were at least different that I found there, and what there was a lot of, and the conditions and that kind of thing. And I just find it, otherwise I'm not a person with a good memory who, you know, I look at a shell and think, oh yeah, I found that. No, it's like, I have no idea. So, and this was like the Broward County Shell Show, you know, I just took some of the things I bought and took a picture of them, and so even the Carefree Learner that I have, I know when I went, and whether you found shells or you just took pictures of a variety of things, and just, so anyway, if anyone's interested, I found it a good way to, you know, keep track of shells that I find or buy, or shells that I've given, and also beaches that I like.
Was it expensive?
Oh, this book, no, it's Amazon, it's, you know, a few bucks. Did I give you this?
No, you got me something different. Okay, so $99 in field.
Maybe I got it. Yeah, Field Journal. Kim Marie Johnson is so-called author. You know, it's
With the shirts, you know how we sell the shirts?
Oh, maybe sell them.
Yeah. I mean, if they're inexpensive.
yeah, they're not expensive.
Yeah, it would be nice, especially
It's,
for.
you know, it's just helpful for me. I like things that are down in black and white. So
Are you done, Judy?
I'm done.
Okay.
That's it. That's a beauty.
All right, so when I moved here 10 years ago, I liked photography already. I started going to the beach, and I went ahead and started to keep taking pictures, but it was really a pain to keep taking my camera with all my lenses, and I was worried about the sand, the ocean water, so I decided I was just gonna learn how to take pictures using my phone. And the phones have really gotten so much better now that the phones are almost as good as regular, or better than regular cameras. So what I encourage everyone to do is on your phone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, I know the iPhone has a tips section. It's and you can just look at the tips of the photography and how to take pictures, and they give a lot of little hints. I don't know if you guys know the burst mode, but if you just hold in on the button, like if you're trying to take a picture of like a dolphin or waves or whatever, you can take like 100 photos at once to get the exact shot that you really like, and you can just delete all the rest. Also, you can use YouTube or Google, and when I see a tip that I like, I try to actually do it right then, so because when I do it, I learn it better.
Hey Meredith?
Yeah.
Here's the tip section on the phone.
Let's see. Let's see. There's a little app that's called Tips, and it's a little light bulb.
The little, oh, that one.
Yes.
What is it, Meredith?
Not in the camera, that's a regular app. Okay.
It's a regular app,
Oh, you have to
and
do
it
that.
says Tips,
Oh, tips.
and you can just look on that right there.
Thank you.
Does it automatically, is it automatically on your?
It should automatically be on your phone unless you've deleted it. But you can get it back, it's free. And if you have trouble locating it, I can show you what it looks like.
Can you hear me now?
I have watched while it was, so I
And
will-
can I just say something real quick? The one thing that I think that Maryland has that is really cool are the little sprockets that you can attach to your phone so you can get a picture out right away.
Yes.
And I was gonna do it
It's not like
today.
you have to go to Walmart or somewhere and print out your pictures. You could, with a sprocket, you can get a small picture or a 4x6. And I think that's a great idea.
I brought it today so that if you wanted me to do that,
You
I'll
can
give you
send
the
the
picture
picture to Maryland.
right away, so you can have it on your, so you'll know which one then is yours. Okay?
Okay, so another important thing that I've learned, and I've just taught myself everything, is light is really important. That's why I went ahead and set the tables out, and you want to pay attention to where the shadows are. At certain times, when you're good, you can try and play with the shadows with your photography. But for the most part, I like it when the shadows aren't like interfering with the picture. And the best time in Florida is April through October. It's summer, it's really hot, but the sun is really bright. And that's really good for getting the colors on the shells.
Now, are you one who likes to do it more like sunset or dawn or not bright sun, not overhead sun?
When I'm trying to get the colors, I do it like around 10 a.m. or whatever. That's a good question because this one was done at sunset in my backyard. Okay, so, and then I just wanted to show you, the pictures that I send you will look more like this, but then when you do the canvas, it kind of shortens it down a little bit. So we'll have to go and pick the best part of the picture. And
Do you ever take them indoors, like in the lighting, if you really want to get a shell picture? Or
I
are you
have-
always, yeah.
I have tried using a light box and the lights. I really prefer the outdoors.
Yeah, okay.
I just, especially in the summertime, the wintertime it's a little bit different. I take most of my photos in the summertime, I take them in my backyard on my table. And people just can't believe that. They think I'm actually going to the beach and taking pictures. Now some of them I do actually take at the beach, so but the morning time at the beach or sunset at the beach is really a good time to get the colors there. When you're at the beach in the bright sunlight, it's a lot harder. You can't really see what you're doing. So my recommendation is, if you take a picture, if you think you're too close or too far away, move it to a couple of different positions, so then that way if some of them is blurry, hopefully you're gonna catch one that's not blurry and that got a good shot. And that's the most important thing, is I kind of move around, I move the angles, and just try to do it in different ways that it just takes a few seconds to walk around what you want to take a picture of and find out what your best angle is. Okay, so I use sand from Siesta Key.
I knew it.
Siesta Key has the best sand. And I've, one of the piles, I'm not gonna say which one, I've had for like years. And I've sifted it a few times to try to get it clean. So you can use a sifter and kind of get some of the stuff out. So some of the piles I did sift shortly. I went to Siesta Key this weekend and got some sand so that I had enough sand for everybody. And I don't know if you knew this trick, but if most people take their pictures like this, they have their camera up high, turn your phone upside down, you'll get a lower angle. It's a good trick for the water or for shells at the beach.
Like this? hands on the light.
Yeah, so you'll have to just get used to it, and I tried taking videos like that too, and it's hard to keep it still, but just keep practicing and trying it. It's a pretty good trick.
Thank you. That's a great trick.
And then with my phone, I like to use the 2.5 magnification, and that gets you get more details and texture, and in the bright sunlight, you get more of the texture too.
So how do you do that?
Well, I'm gonna have Karen turn the recorder off soon.
Now?
Okay, now everybody's sworn to secrecy here, so I'm gonna tell you the apps that I use to help filter it and make it pretty. So one of the apps that I really like, and it's free, is called Snapseed. Snapseed.
Seed, S-E-E-D.
Yep. And I don't use it on landscape photos. I use it for close-up shell photos. And that helps with the texture. It has everything on there that you need. You can, if you have a little blemish or there's a little spot in the sand that you don't like, you can get rid of it. I use the, there's a tool section in Snapseed. And the one that I like the best is the HDR Scape.
Could you repeat that?
There's a tool section in the app. That's what I press. I use HDR Scape, and it'll be at 100%. There's a little thing, you just knock it down. I knock it all the way down to like 25%. So you're just getting a little pop of color, but it's not over magnified to where it looks really fake. Okay?
So you have it at,
I turn it down to 25% or lower, depending on the picture, how much noise it's creating. And sometimes you can do the brightness, you can turn the brightness up a little bit. Sometimes that's all you need to do. So those are just basically the main things that I do. You can sharpen it a little bit, but pretty much I don't even do that hardly anymore. If you're taking landscape photos, like you're at the beach and you're taking a picture of the beach, there's an app that's like $6, and that's all it is, $6 or $7, and it's called Pro Camera. So if the sun isn't bright that day, if it's super bright or whatever, you can go in there and you can flip through the different filters that it has till you find one that kind of more matches what it really looked like that day. And there's one other app that I use that's called Retouch, and I think it's maybe like $2. And if you are taking a picture and there's like a power line in it or some sort of line, I just use that solely to take out any lines that are in my photos that I don't like.
What did you call that one, Meredith?
Retouch. And I would just say that one of the other important things when you're taking pictures at the beach, using your camera, is when you're done taking the picture, when you look at it, really, I just hit the edit button on my phone, I let it edit it, and it's really good to go. The only other thing that you have to do really is to make sure your horizon is straight.
Yeah.
And it's really not that hard. It's not.
For you.
But doesn't the app automatically do it? No.
It does not automatically do it. You have to go over to the end and hit the thing.
Okay.
So is there any questions? Yes, Martha?
When you said, when you were doing the retouch and you said like you take the power line out,
Yeah.
how do you do, like is there, like you can, how do you do that?
It says right under there, it says line. I think it says line, so you hit line, and then you just put your finger across where the line is, and it takes it right out.
Perfect.
Oh,
thank you.
And you don't have to get it exact, it figures out where
The
the line
family
is.
photo, okay.
Yeah,
Meredith, I think I missed the app between Snapseed and the landscape photo.
okay, so there was Snapseed, then there was Pro Camera,
Okay, I got that one.
and Retouch.
Okay, I got all three of those. All right, must have been some.
And you can Google information about how to use those apps too. You can say, how do you do this? How do you do that? You don't need a lot of apps to touch up your photographs. You really don't. You just have to know the apps that you're using and know them well. Yes, Anita?
And I just wanted to say what a bargain all of this is at this stage. Richard used to use real photographer, or real, cameras and so forth. His InDesign, Photoshop stuff, they were thousands of dollars for each one of those. And, to take out the power line and to do whatever else. And can I mention those three pictures?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, just to reiterate what she said about light. This was a Christmas card that we did one time. We took this picture with the sun coming through the shell from the back, so that's what makes it luminous. So again, that sunlight. Also, this one, much more interesting because the light is coming from one side. And the other, I didn't think about the other. And then, so that it just makes it much more attractive. Both this one and this one. Notice the black backgrounds? Again, these were taken outside on the picnic table, but with a black velvet background. And that makes the picture snap out. And then, again, when you print, if you want, rather than putting a bunch of mats on, you can just frame it, put a little frame on your picture. So again,
Thanks, Anita.
you bet.
So I did bring some different canvases for you to look at. I will say white shells are probably the hardest to photograph.
But again, on black velvet, they work.
Or I use the inside of bigger shells. This one is a really nice color, and you can kind of see that color. It kind of makes it look nice. And so I have some examples here. People have asked if I use tweezers to put the shells in place. I really don't. I just use my fingers. If you're really into it, you can, but I don't. And then the other thing I just wanted to point out was texture. So if you look at these two shells, see if you can figure out which one has the better texture. If they're worn down and rough, you're not going to get as good of a picture as you would if something has, all the nice lines and yeah. And then sometimes I'll just use these scallop shells also to put different shells in or on, and it just adds another dimension to the shells that you're trying to photograph, and it kind of helps people determine the size of the shells that are.
It gives them.
Yes.
It gives it perspective.
Gives perspective.
Yeah, did you take classes on this, or do you just have the
I didn't take any classes.
have the iPhone? Self-taught.
Yeah, Candy?
What company do you use for your canvases?
Oh, that's a good question. I use Canvas Discount. I have tried several different companies. This one's from Miami. I like the way it does with the colors and stuff. CanvasDiscount.com. You can just load it right from your phone. You can load your picture right from the phone into Canvas Discount, and it'll give you the different sizes, different prices, and everything. So then you can see how it is. Now the 8x8s, they don't have the option to upgrade the frame, but the larger ones has the option to upgrade your frame to 1 inch. If you're ever going to get a larger one, I highly recommend upgrading the frame It makes it look a lot better. And then at the end, when you're ordering, you have to pay attention to what kind of finish you want on the end. Otherwise, sometimes they'll just have lines. I just say I want it folded, so then the picture overlaps to the end.
What about the hanging mechanism in the back?
The hanging mechanism, we use nails, and we just put the nails on the wall, and we just hang it up.
Right.
So Meredith, when you hit your preview button, does it show it wrapped so you can adjust your photo if you need to?
Yes, when you say that you want to upgrade the frame, it does readjust it for you.
And then if you think, ooh, I want to manipulate that, you just cancel it?
Yeah. You can't really do it up and down, but you can go across.
That's more important, right?
Right.
Isn't that what you're
Yeah.
trying to satisfy?
Right.
Okay.
Yes?
Sorry again. I noticed a lot of the ones that you post have really good shadows.
Yes?
Like, are you, like, manipulating your state, like, how are you getting your really, like, a lot of them have really nice shadows. I just want to know how you do that.
Thank you.
That'll be more than $10.
Canvas design.
She's cashing in her free tip and being Hey, I have like 20 of them. That's the girl. Like,
She does. She's my best customer. So, thank you, Martha. The shadows, I don't play or manipulate the shadows. I'm out there in the daytime. It's embarrassing. I'm out there in my swimsuit because it's really hot in Florida in the summer. I stay out there for about 20 minutes. I get wet or whatever, and then I go back to it. And I just kind of pay attention to where the sun is and where the shadows are and where I think I want the shadow to be. And I'll just move the shell accordingly.
Good job.
And yeah, for the canvases, you guys can decide, but for most of you, you probably want your shells kind of grouped close together. Because I think that you want the whole canvas. I'm partial to the single ones, so if you like a lot of sand, that's fine too. But I have to, I'm on Instagram, so if you get too many of them close together that are crowded, then it's too much to look at. So then I space them out with some singles that have the sand in it so that it's not too busy. All right, so if there's no more questions.
I don't have a question, but, I have a cheesy tip.
If you've got if you've got the smaller sizes of the, I often hang those on push pins, which make tiny little holes in your walls and are easy to move.
That's my house.
Yeah, push pin, yes, there you go.
Good idea, thank you.
Okay, so.
Thank you, Meredith.
All right, so I'll have 4 of you.